So as we get started, we'll start again with the Om chanting, only this time we'll do it at our own pace. So that means don't wait for me to begin and end the Om. You begin and end the Om on your own. So it's your own Om. Feel at Om. The purpose being that then it becomes your own chant. You don't have to depend on my voice. And second is then there's a continuous rolling vibration of Om in the hall. It's very calming. In fact, in the Panchadashi, which is a text of post Shankara Dvaita Vedanta, the most powerful way of calming and focusing the mind in Advaita Vedanta, they say, is Dirgha Pranava Ucharana, prolonged, the chanting of a prolonged Om. That's what we are doing. So at your own pace for a minute. Let's chant the two verses, 4th and 5th. You can chant after me, those of you like. Natvam deho nate deho, natvam deho nate deho, bhokta karta nava bhavan, bhokta karta nava bhavan, chidruposi sada sakshi, chidruposi sada sakshi, nirapeksha sukham chara, nirapeksha sukham chara, ragadvesho manodharmo, ragadvesho manodharmo, namanaste kadachana, namanaste kadachana, nirvikalposi bodhatma, nirvikalposi bodhatma, nirvikara sukham chara, nirvikara sukham chara. I'll read out the English translation from Byram. You are not your body is not you. You notice a slight variation in translation. The literal meaning is the body is not yours. You are not the doer, you are not the enjoyer or sufferer. Often bhokta is translated as enjoyer, but it's misleading. Most of our bhoga, the Sanskrit word bhoga means experience, enjoyment and suffering. Often Indians use bhoga as suffering. So, enjoyer or sufferer, you are pure awareness, the witness of all things. You are without expectation, free. Wherever you go, be happy. Then next, desire and aversion are of the mind. The mind is never yours. You are free of its turmoil. Your awareness itself, never changing. Wherever you go, be happy. Now we'll meditate on this. The technique we shall use, the multiple techniques of non-dual meditation. And these techniques are based on certain Vedantic procedures called prakriya. They are like algorithms or procedures. We will use one of my favorite ones, which is called the seer and the seen, Drigdrishya Viveka, the distinction of the seer and the seen. Now, there is, let me see if I can bring this out safely. Yes. Yes. It's a real flower. All right. Good. We'll use it as a Vedantic prop. Now, look at this flower. Just simply look at it. And notice that the flower is seen. It's a form which is seen. Those of you have gone through the text, Drigdrishya Viveka, the analysis of the seer and the seen, you know where I'm taking this from. The first verse. The form is seen, the eyes are the seer, the eyes are seen, the mind is the seer, the mind is seen, the witness is the seer, and the witness is never seen. That's the first verse. Rupam drishyam, lochanam drik, tad drishyam drik tu manasam, drishyadhi vrittaya sakshi drigeva natu drishyate. That's the first verse of that powerful little text. So we're going to use that. This is, look at this, actually do it experientially. Look at this. This is a form. Form means shape or color. Literally color, but shape also. This is a form. And now notice that this is seen by the eyes. Literally notice. The eyes are the seer and the form is seen. Notice that the form is different from the eyes. Literally, they're two different things. In fact, if it were one with the eyes, I wouldn't be able to see it. Right? The only thing that the eyes cannot see are the eyes themselves. You cannot see your own eyes. And some of you will be thinking, Swami, have you looked in a mirror ever? Swami, have you ever seen a selfie? But if you see in a mirror, notice what happens when you see in a mirror. You do not see your own eyes the way you are seeing this directly. You are seeing this directly. That way you cannot see your eyes directly. You can see a reflection of your eyes. We can see a picture of our eyes. But we cannot see the eyes directly the way you are seeing this flower. So the flower is seen, the eyes are the seer. Notice, the eyes and the flower are different. They're two different things. Notice one more thing. The scene keeps changing. You can see the flower, you can see the cloth now, you can see my hand now. But the seer remains the same. The same eyes see the flower, see the cloth, and then see the hand. So the scene keeps changing. The seer is the same, remains the same. The scene are many, cloth, flower, hand. The seer is the same. It is the one, the organ of vision. I don't mean that we are one-eyed. It means the organ of vision, the capacity to see. So I've pointed out three things. And notice always that this is not theoretical. None of this is theoretical. This is where some people get tripped up when we go into deeper, more advanced levels, as we shall. They think it's some kind of theory. No, this is not theory. Is it theory? Is the flower theory? No, you're not very confident. Is it non-dual metaphysics? No, it's just a flower. It's a beautiful little flower. Yes, it's real. Are the eyes theory? No, they are real. And is it theory that the flower and the eyes are different? No, it's real. It's a fact. And is it theory that the scene keeps changing? It's a fact. And that there are many things, the scene are many, seer is one. It's a fact. All right. Now, I'll keep this here so you can see it. Blink the eyes. Open and close the eyes. Notice, now keep the eyes closed. Relax, breathing normally. Notice that the eyes are also seen, quote unquote, by the mind. You are aware of the eyes, the opening of the eyes, the closing of the eyes. The eyes are seen, the mind is the seer. Again, notice the seer and seen are two different things. The eyes and the mind are not the same thing. They're different. The eyes are a physical organ. The mind is whatever it is. It's not a physical organ. And the seen are many. You can see the eyes, you are aware of the hands, you are aware of the legs, the nose, the tongue, all the 5 sense organs, the rest of the body. The seen are many. And the seer is the same mind. The seen are continuously changing. The same eyes, at one time you could see 20/20 vision, and now you require glasses. The eyes are changing. It is the same mind which knew that I saw very clearly, and the same mind which knows that I need glasses now. So the mind is the same, unchanging with regard to the eyes. The eyes and the rest of the body are changing. Same conclusion. Seer and seen are different. The seer is one, the seen are many. The seer is unchanging, the seen are changing. You might say, but the mind is changing, Swami. Yes, the mind changes into more mind, thoughts into more thoughts and perceptions. But the body changes variously. The eyes and the ears and the nose and all of them, they keep changing in different ways. Now go deeper. The mind itself, thoughts, feelings, emotions, we are aware of them. When a thought arises, I'm aware I'm thinking. When pain arises, I'm aware there is suffering. When desire, liking arises, I feel the liking. So the mind is known. The mind is seen, let us say. And that which sees the mind, whatever it is, which experiences the mind, we'll call it the Sakshi, witness. Since the seer and the seen are different, the witness of the mind must be different from the mind. I, the one which is aware of the mind, am not the mind, different from the mind. Seer and seen are different. The mind has many, many thoughts. There are thoughts and memories and desires and emotions, understanding. All of these, the intellect, the emotions, the memory, all of these are functions of the mind. There are many, many, many. I, the experiencer of them, am the same. By that, what I mean is, I am the same one who feels happy. Same I then feels unhappy sometimes. And that same I remembers something. That same I forgets something. The same I understands something and does not understand something else. So the I is the same. Understanding, remembering, feeling, perception, mind, and the thoughts, they all are many. But it is one I. This witness is one. Not only that, the mind continuously changes. Someone said there are 16,000, according to some there are 16,000 thoughts in a waking day. Whether 16,000 or not, many, many, many thoughts. They keep changing. Thoughts, emotions, perceptions keep changing. The witness does not change. It is to the same witness that all of these appear and disappear. In the same ray of light, which is the witness, they are like particles of dust floating around in a ray of sunlight. So many thoughts, so many perceptions, ideas, desires, fancies. This witness, Sakshi, the witness consciousness. This I am. This is the seer. Gently open your eyes. First, the flower was the seen. Look, eyes were the seer. And I noticed that the eyes are different from the flower. I noticed the eyes are one, what we see are many. I noticed the eyes are unchanging, what we see are changing all the time. Then my attention was drawn from the flower to the eyes themselves. See, this is a way of going from the world back to the senses and the body. From the body and the senses back to the mind. From the mind back to consciousness. This is a procedure. So the flower is very important. It stands for the whole physical universe. So from there, my attention is now drawn to the eyes. And I notice that the eyes are seen or experienced, the mind is the experiencer. And the mind and the eyes are different. And I notice that the mind, being the same mind, can experience many things about the eyes, the ears, nose, all these different senses, and the rest of the body. And I notice the mind, relative to the body, unchanging, that is changing more into mind, but not into anything else. But the eyes are changing, the rest of the body is changing. Then I come back to the mind itself. The mind, many thoughts, emotions, ideas, I am the witness of them. I means the consciousness, the awareness. Simply means I'm aware of it. If I'm aware of the mind, then I, the one which is aware, whatever it is, must be distinct from the mind. And the mind is distinct from me, the awareness. The mind has many, many thoughts, emotions, ideas, memories. The awareness is one. The mind changes continuously. I, the awareness, do not change. And finally, I, the awareness, I am never an object. World is an object to my eyes or ears. The eyes and ears and the rest of the body is an object to the mind. The mind is an object to me, the consciousness. But I, the consciousness, am never an object. The seer is never seen. At first, the eyes were the seer and the flower was seen. Next, the mind became the seer and the eyes and the flower are both seen. Next, the consciousness itself became the seer. The mind and the eyes and the flower are all seen. The external universe, the body, the senses, the mind are all seen, object. Consciousness alone is the seer, subject. And if I am asked, is this consciousness, is it a fact? If the flower is a fact, we say, yes, it's a fact. Is the eyes, as the seer of the flower, are the eyes a fact? Yes, that's a fact. It's true. It's real. The mind as the seer of the eyes, is it a fact? Yes, check within. Do we have minds or are we mindless? We have minds. Mind is a fact. And the consciousness to which the mind appears, is that a fact or is it theory? It's also a fact because I am experiencing the mind. Gently open your eyes again. One more important observation. How do you know that you have eyes? See, it's an important question. How do you know? Right now, look at the flower. How do you know that there is a flower here? Your answer will be, I see it, Swami. How do you know that there's a cloth here? You all affirm, there's a cloth. How do you know? You say, I see it, Swami. Now, and you can see my hand. How do you know I've raised my hand? I see you raising your hand, Swami. In that case, the proof of the flower, of the cloth, of the raised hands are the eyes. The eyes prove it to me, to my satisfaction, because I see them. If seeing something is the proof of existence, of its presence, if the seeing something is a proof of the presence of the flower, of the cloth, of the hand, what is the proof of the eyes? You can't say seeing the eyes because you don't see the eyes. And yet we are quite sure that we have eyes. What is the proof that I've got eyes? Seeing the flower is the proof of the presence of the flower. Seeing the cloth is the proof of the presence of the cloth. Seeing what is the proof of the presence of eyes? Seeing anything. Seeing anything. If I see the flower, it's a proof that the flower is there, but it's also proof that my eyes are well and functioning. If I see the cloth, it's a proof that the cloth is there, but it's also a proof that my eyes are well and functioning, that my eyes exist. Seeing the hand is also not only a proof of the hand, but it's also proof of the eyes existing and functioning. Similarly, let me ask that I am consciousness. I am aware. What do I have to be aware of to prove that I am aware? Aware of anything? Any conscious experience points immediately back to the fact that I am awareness. I am conscious, or literally, I am consciousness. What is this jump between I am aware, which all of us would agree to, I am conscious, which all of us would agree to, this jump to I am awareness, I am consciousness, this little jump, a philosopher would catch it. You're pulling a fast one, Swami. I am aware, I am conscious, nobody doubts it. No atheist, no materialist, no scientist would ever doubt that. We all are conscious, we all are aware. But I am awareness. I am consciousness alone, not anything else. How did you do that? We did it by this method. Seer and seen are different. The flower is different from the eyes which see it. Blink your eyes. You're aware of the eyes. Therefore, the eyes are seen. The mind is different from the eyes which saw it. Now, focus on the thoughts in the mind. I'm aware of the thoughts in the mind, thoughts, emotions, ideas, memories. In that case, if I'm aware of that, the mind is different from the consciousness itself. Earlier, I thought I was this body experiencing a flower. But now, I became aware I'm the mind experiencing the body. And finally, I'm become aware that I am consciousness experiencing the mind and the body and the world. I am consciousness alone. Gently open your eyes. Your consciousness alone. When you open your eyes, right now, are you consciousness? Is there consciousness at all? And when you are aware of this flower, are you conscious? Yes. And when you close your eyes, the flower, you're no longer aware of the flower. But is consciousness there? Yes. And you're thinking. Is consciousness there? Yes. If I stop thinking, is consciousness there? Yes. Just as when the flower I'm seeing, I'm conscious, and if I'm not seeing the flower, I'm still conscious. If I'm thinking, I'm conscious. If I'm not thinking, I'm conscious. I'm aware of the absence of thought. Just as I open my eyes and see the flower, I'm aware of the presence of the flower here. When I close my eyes and I don't see the flower, I'm still aware of the absence of the flower. Similarly, when I stop thinking, I'm aware of the absence of thought. Absence of thought is not absence of consciousness. It is the consciousness of the absence of thought. I'm aware of the absence of thought. In deep sleep, in deep meditation, and indeed in day-to-day life, between the little gap between each thought, I'm aware of the absence of thought. In the presence of objects, I am consciousness. In the absence of objects, I am consciousness. When I open my eyes again, that consciousness, which was aware of the mind, and through the mind, the eyes, and through the eyes, the flower, that consciousness is here right now. Right? Now, if I look at the book, it says, Chidruposi, you are of the nature of consciousness. Do we understand this now? What it means? Not just literally, not just verbally. Do I understand it experientially? Not so confident now we are. Yeah, so little by little we must have to become bold and assert it. Yes. First of all, no-brainer. I am conscious, no-brainer. Then big step forward, I am consciousness. I am consciousness alone. Then when we say that we are consciousness, we have no objection to it. What we normally mean, I am a bundle of body, mind, consciousness. Here's a body, here's a mind, and consciousness. I am this thing altogether. What Vedanta is trying to tell us is, yes, there's the flower, the world is there, the eyes are there, the mind is there, consciousness is there, But you are not a bundle of all of them. Just as you are not the flower, even when the flower is there and you're experiencing the flower, you cannot be the body, even when the body is there and you're experiencing the body. And the same logic, you are not the mind. Even when the mind is there and the mind is thinking, understanding, remembering, you are not literally the mind. These are like layers of clothes we have put on. I put on an undershirt, I put on a shirt and a coat. Exactly like that. I put on a mind and a sensory system and a body, physical body. But that's not me. Just as I am not the shirt, I'm not the undershirt, I am not the coat. Similarly, I consciousness, I am not the mind. Yeah, without the mind, there's no thinking, remembering possible. Without the senses, without the eyes, there is no seeing. Without the ears, there is no hearing. Without the physical body, there is no action, interaction with the world. But I am consciousness alone. Chidruposi. Sakshi. I am the witness. Witness of what? I am the consciousness which is the witness of the mind. Thoughts, emotions, ideas, memories. And with the mind, I am the consciousness which is the witness of the sensory system. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. And with the mind and the sensory system, I, the consciousness, I am the witness of the world, of other people, of space, of time, of animals, plants, of activities, of including the activity of this body also. I am the constant witness of all of them. I am the witness of waking, dreaming, deep sleep. Notice, this consciousness, this awareness, this witness. By the way, witness does not mean an act. Witnessing, not an act. It's more like the light is shining. It's not an act. It's just shining, and it reveals whatever comes within its ambit is revealed. Similarly, your awareness. It's not an activity. Whatever comes within your ambit is revealed. When you are seeing, you are aware. When you are hearing and smelling and tasting, you are aware. When you are thinking, are you aware? Is there awareness? When you're not thinking, is there awareness? Yes. When you remember something, is there awareness? And you fail to remember something, is the awareness there? Is it the same awareness which is there when remembering? Yes. Does the awareness change whether you remember or you fail to remember? No. I've seen elderly people, our very senior member in the Vedanta Society, gentleman is there, he's 99 years old this month. He says, Bill Conrad, he says, Swami, my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. I said, Bill, you're far ahead of us. I'm half your age and my memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Remember, you are the same undiminished consciousness which was aware of a keen memory. The same undiminished consciousness which is aware of the failing memory. You as consciousness are undiminished. You are exactly the same. Of course, his answer is, small comfort, Swami. He jokes, he says, old age is not for sissies, Swami. Old age is not for sissies. I remember this memory failing, and this distinction let me draw between this monk I knew, one of the most spiritual people I've seen in my life, and one of the greatest philosophers I knew of our time. Both have passed, so I can speak about it. So this monk I knew, his name is Swami Mokshadananda Ram Maharaj. He passed several years ago. There's one book to his credit. It's called Jivan Mukti Viveka. It's a book written by Vidyaranya Swami about 700 years ago. So this Swami translated that book into English. Jivan Mukti Viveka, an analysis of the freedom while living, enlightened and free while living. So this Swami, I used to go to him for advice, for answering with questions. He was one of the most profound Vedantic scholars I've ever known in my life, and also I believe to be fully enlightened. So towards the end of his life, when I went to him, I remember one of the last times I went to him, he was bedridden, and he was ill for a long time. Even when he was answering my questions and all, he used to need oxygen 9 or 10 hours a day. But I never saw him without a twinkle in his eyes. He was a short, fair man, and his hair was a little bit like Einstein's, like this white, fluffy hair. Even when he was sick and dying, that twinkle in the eyes was still there, although he was very frail and feeble. So at that time, I asked him a question, a Vedantic question. I've forgotten what the question was, but I've never forgotten his answer. He thought and thought and thought, and finally he said, "Oh, it's gone. I can't remember anymore." And then with the same bright smile and twinkle in his eyes, he said, "Let it go. Its task is done. Let it go." All that Vedantic learning of all his life. So it's shocking. Like a person who loses his learning, it's like a multimillionaire, suddenly Wall Street crash and you've lost all your money. What you've worked for all your life is gone. So people, the elderly, become very unhappy when, they know they can't remember. It's there, but they can't recall it anymore. It's gone. And this person, he says with a big smile, "Oh, let it go. Its task is done." Cut to a few years later, I was talking to this great philosopher. He has passed now, so I can take his name, Professor J.N. Mohanty. He was equally a master of Eastern and Western philosophy. He was a master of Nyaya philosophy, Advaita Vedanta. And then, just after the Second World War, he took the unprecedented step of going from India to Germany to learn Western philosophy. And it was difficult in those days. Germany was basically bombed out and barely beginning to recover from the Second World War. So he went to Göttingen. There was a great German philosopher, Husserl. He's known as the father of a branch of Western philosophy called phenomenology. So this professor, he became a master of that branch of phenomenology. In fact, if you read any text on phenomenology today, you will find at least one article by J.N. Mohanty. So he became such a master of that. Anyway, so this was at a seminar in Calcutta. At tea time, the professor told me, "Swami, he had a mild stroke. So I feel depressed because I can see that I'm losing this sharpness which I had earlier. The ability to quickly grasp, understand a problem, and the memory, the vast learning which he has stored up from a lifetime of cultivation of learning, vast store of learning, slowly slipping away, unable to retrieve it quickly. So it's going away." Then I told him the story of this monk. And then he says, "Let it go. Its task is done." The professor was very impressed. He said, "That's really wonderful. And that's what all this knowledge is actually for. I wish I could say the same thing." So memory and the failure of memory are equally that same consciousness. Even the failure of memory points to pleasure. When you taste something very nice you like, when you hear a piece of music that you like very much, are you conscious? Yes. And when there is pain, a sharp pain, are you conscious? Oh yes, a little more conscious than usual. All of these experiences point back to consciousness for the enlightened one. For the unenlightened one, all experiences point to the object of enjoyment or object of suffering. This, for me, is a bottle of water. And then a pinch, for me, it's a burst of pain. For the enlightened one, this is pointing back to the consciousness in which it is appearing. The pinch is pointing back to the consciousness in which it is appearing. None of this is theoretical. This can actually help in pain, in suffering. I know one professor, he was a disciple of a great monk who has passed several years ago. And this professor told me that in the last days of this master, the disciples used to serve him. And he was sick, dying, and lying on the bed. Patients get bed sores. So they had to stand him up. He was a tall, thin man. So 2 people had to support him. And another person had to apply this, ointment on the bed sores. And when they would touch the sores, he would giggle as if they were tickling him. He would burst out in laughter. This is, "Swami, what are you doing?" "Oh, but it's funny." "But doesn't it hurt?" "Of course it hurts. It hurts terribly." And then the nurse and the doctor said, Swami, don't do that because we don't understand where it hurts you. It doesn't. We need to know to do that. Stop doing that. For that person, even a sharp pain is funny. Seeing something beautiful, seeing something, tasting something special is funny. All of that, the pain is also funny because it points back to the Sakshi. Just as this flower. You say, what is a flower? No, it's a flower pointing back to my eyes, that I'm seeing this flower. I immediately become aware of my eyes. Similarly, pain, I become aware that I am consciousness. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, same consciousness or not? Yes, same consciousness. In happiness and misery, same consciousness. So it says here, Sada Sakshi, forever, in all times, you are the witness consciousness. Whatever happens. Nirapeksha. Try this. Nirapeksha means does not want anything, does not expect anything. Try this. Sit straight, relaxed. Repeat the exercise. Look at the flower. Be aware of the flower. Now be aware of the eyes watching the flower. Close the eyes. Be aware of the mind which noticed the opening and closing of the eyes. Then be aware of the mind itself. Thoughts, feelings. Restless mind, the calm mind, and the awareness itself. Now, suppose the world outside this room has completely disappeared. Don't worry, it will come back. Your car will be there, everything will be there. All the problems also will be there, don't worry. The world outside this room has completely disappeared. Now imagine, thought experiment. Thought experiment. Imagine that everybody else in this room has disappeared. Just you, this physical body sitting on the chair. Now imagine that the body has also disappeared. You are just awareness and thoughts and feelings. Now imagine that all thoughts have stopped. No memories. You don't remember who you are, where you are, what you are doing. You don't even remember your name. No thought of the past. No thought of the future. All thoughts cease. No memories, no thought. Neutral, peaceful feeling. Awareness still there. This awareness, what does it want? You can tell me. Nothing. Nothing. What does it want? Nothing. What does it lack? Nothing. What is it waiting for? Nothing. This is called nirapeksha. Nirapeksha. Without expectation. Gently open your eyes. It's only when the mind kicks back in. It comes with a set of memories, projects, frustrations, history, the person. There's a beautiful saying which I like very much. The person that you are will never be free. I'm sorry. But you can be free of the person. I like that. There's some sayings which are so beautiful, and all of them you will understand. With this exercise, we all understand. See, 3 sayings. The person that we are will never be free, but we can be free of the person. That's one. And now we understand what is meant by being free of the person. Let the person come back again. The moment the mind starts functioning, the person will come back again. But you are free of the person. You are the witness consciousness of the person, not stuck to the person. But notice one thing. The person cannot function without you, the consciousness. Isn't that true? Yes. If the flower is removed, you are still there. If you close your eyes, you are still there. If you stop thinking, you are still there. But you, if you were not there, would there be thinking? Would there be seeing? Nothing. Would there be even a flower? Now that's a sticky question. Common sense would say, yeah, the flower would exist, but I would not be there. See, this is an interesting thing that we'll see that in the next session. We feel somehow I am this constant consciousness, the world is changing and inconstant, but our instinctive feeling is the world was there before I came on the scene, the world will continue after I am gone. I, the constant consciousness, somehow I'll be gone. This world, inconstant and ever changing, will always be there. I have this feeling inside me. We will see in the next session, even that's wrong. Even if the world disappears, you're still there. But if you disappear, I, the consciousness, I, the light which lights up this all experience. If I disappear, no experience is possible. No thought will be there. No memory will be there. No desire will be there. No success, failure, pleasure, pain. No life will be there. Christoph Koch, the leading neuroscientist, he wrote a book on consciousness recently. He called it Consciousness, the Feeling of Life Itself. If you, the consciousness, disappear, no life. Zero. Objects disappear, you are still there. Body is not there, you're still there. In dream, you're there. In deep sleep, you're there. Mind shuts down, you are still there. But if you are not there, nothing is there. That's why now you understand the Upanishadic saying, Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. That shining, everything else shines after it. By its light, everything here is lit up. You shining, everything else shines after you. By your light, everything here is lit up. Does that make sense? It makes sense. Not theoretically, experientially. So this is one. The person will never be free, but you will be free of the person. Another saying which I like very much, I don't know where these sayings come from, but I really like them. Another saying that I liked very much is, whatever is behind you and whatever is ahead of you is as nothing compared to what is within you. Whatever is behind you, what's behind you? Something like this flower which you experienced in life. What's ahead of you? More of this objects. That's all. But what's within you? You, the consciousness. You, the light of the universe. You, that which makes everything possible. So that which is within you is more important than that which is behind you or in front of you. I said this once in Santa Barbara in the Vedanta temple there. What is behind you and what is ahead of you is as nothing compared to what is within you. And then somebody left a note in the kitchen saying that what is behind you and what is in front of you is as nothing compared to what's within the fridge. So we all went and opened the fridge. There was ice cream. Somebody had kept ice cream there. The third saying which I like very much, again, somewhere I read it, is we think we are human beings in search of spiritual experience. The truth is we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Is that not utterly clear now? What is the spiritual being? The Sakshi, the witness consciousness. Can this Sakshi, the witness consciousness, can it die? Only one or two are thinking, no. Many of you are not convinced, I'm not sure. It's always called immortal, no birth, no death. But remember, the death of what? When death, even a doctor will say, when something dies, what is it that dies? The body. Medical death of the body is what we call death. It's only if you assume that the body produces consciousness, then the next step will be, when the body is gone, consciousness is gone. Does the body produce consciousness? A lot of scientists would jump on you if you say such things. But that's an amazing thing of living today. There is a growing scientific consensus that we cannot reduce consciousness to brain activity. We cannot reduce consciousness to brain activity. David Chalmers, his famous formulation of the hard problem of consciousness, that how can a material entity like a brain, which is like this, like a flower, the flower is much more beautiful than the brain, by the way. If you take out the brain, it's just an ugly mass of flesh. Material entity like this book or this bottle of water, how can it have internal states of feeling happy, sad, miserable, enjoyable, understanding, not understanding, consciousness? How can it have that? So why not? Notice, the rise of the modern machines, especially AI, everything that we do with our minds has been duplicated now, except one thing: consciousness. First person experience, qualia, first person experience. See, the new machines and the AI, they have, of course, they have always had enormous memories. Even a calculator had enormous memories. But they have sensors, which, even an airport door has a sensor. If you go near it, it'll open. Then they have decision-making capacities, like a Google self-driving car. It can drive sometimes better than you. You go to San Francisco, you'll see them driving along next to you. It's very weird because there's no driver, no passenger, merrily driving along next to you and driving better than you. And the thing is, whom do you ask when something goes wrong? The company, the car, the passenger, whom will you ask? In San Francisco, they had a problem. All these self-driving cars are going up a particular alley and parking there. Why? Nobody knows. And ultimately, the engineers couldn't even figure it out. It was very interesting. They couldn't figure out why they are going to that particular alley. So they finally just fixed it by programming it not to go there. But they never knew why they were going there. Now, so they take decisions. They can coordinate. They can do just about everything. Right now, they can write creativity. They can write short stories. They can paint pictures. Someone entered a picture painted by there's an AI imaging AI is there. I've forgotten the name. It came before ChatGPT. Yes. And the picture was submitted for an art competition and it won. It's after winning, it was revealed that it's not a human being who's painted it. A short story competition was won by ChatGPT. After winning, it was revealed it's not a human being who wrote the story. So all of this, including creativity, can be done by machines. But one thing cannot be done is consciousness. He says, Swami, are you stipulating, ordering that it cannot be done? No, it's not that. Ask the experts, ask people in Silicon Valley, are you able to duplicate consciousness in the AI? They will say, no. We don't even know where to begin. We don't even know whether it's necessary. A scientist said, actually, I'm not afraid whether these machines will become conscious. It's the intelligence which scares me. See, consciousness is by itself harmless. What can be harmful is intelligence. And now these machines are intelligent without being conscious. Anyway, so consciousness is not the mind, is apart from the mind. Even when without the mind this consciousness exists, brain is producing consciousness. There's no way of showing. The machines cannot be conscious. Brain is another kind of machine. How will you say it? Why is it conscious then? Nobody knows. This is called the hard problem of consciousness. So David Chalmers is one who has proposed the term hard problem of consciousness. There was a professor, Galen Strawson in the UT Austin. He wrote a very half humorous piece in the New York Times titled The Hard Problem of Matter. He said it's not consciousness which is the hard problem. You have imagined, you have taken it for granted that brain is producing consciousness. Then you don't know how brain is producing consciousness, hence hard problem. But do you know that brain is, for sure that brain is producing consciousness? Rather, he says it is matter which is the difficult problem. As we investigate matter, I'm quoting from his article, as we investigate matter, it is disappearing before our very eyes. Modern particle physics cannot go deeper and deeper. Matter is becoming a mystery. Consciousness is not a hard problem, that Galen Strawson writes. Consciousness is not a hard problem. All of us are conscious. It's directly evident. Matter is evident to us in consciousness, not beyond consciousness. It's not that we are first matter and then we become conscious. No, in your own experience, you are conscious and then you're conscious of matter. So, here we are. Death. Death is death of the body. Death of the body need not be death of consciousness. So the question I asked was, can this consciousness die? The body dies, but you have no proof that the consciousness dies. So, but that person doesn't talk, doesn't interact. Obviously, if you shut the door in the face of the person, how will that person? The body is the door through which we interact with the world. Even in deep sleep, we cannot interact with the body, even with a living body. What to speak of a dead body? So how do you know? See, here is an interesting thing to think about. The little trick that our minds play on us. When I interact with you, when you interact with people, you feel you're interacting with a person, right? With a person. When the body dies, we say the person is dead. How do you know? You just know that the body is dead. The embodied person is dead. How do you know? Just because you can't interact with that person. So you have jumped from the person being a conscious being in the body. When you say the body is dead, the person is dead, you have jumped from the conscious being in the body to the body. The body is the person. We normally, when we interact, we never think of persons as bodies only. Bodies through which I interact with you. When the body dies, I say you are dead, but then I reduced you to the body. That little jump, a trick that our minds play on us. All religions of the world, all religions, without exception, they hold that we do not die with the death of the body. All religions. There's not a single religion which says, that's sort of what distinguishes religion from materialism. All religions, of whatever description, one thing common is the death of the body is not the death of the person. Person is even beyond the person is consciousness. Even when you shut down the person in deep sleep, in deep meditation, consciousness persists. You are that consciousness. So, sada sakshi, nirapeksha. You can appreciate these three sayings, that we think that we are spiritual beings, we are human beings in search of spiritual experience, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's one. Next is that what is behind you and what is in front of you is nothing compared to what is within you. That consciousness. And third is that, the one which you can never be free, but you can be free of the person. Who is the person? This embodied, the particular state of the mind with its own stories and the body. See, the body will decay and die one day. Even the mind will decay and die. Alzheimer's, die means it stops functioning, it gets degraded. When the physical part of the body decays, the mind gets degraded along with it. Not that it will be destroyed. When the body dies, it will be free and it will go on to a next body. So Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, the mind is degraded. What this says is the consciousness itself is not degraded. You are aware, no longer you will be able to say with that monk, I can't remember. Just like any patient of Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, I can't remember anymore. But you'll also be able to say, let it go. Maybe one day I won't be able to speak also. Maybe the equipment will fail. Internally, I'll be aware of the ability to speak was there, ability to speak is not there. I'm perfectly all right. Swami Shivanandaji was a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, the second president of the Ramakrishna mission. In his old age as the president of the order, in the last years of his life, he had suffered a stroke, partial paralysis of one side, and loss of speech. And those who went to see him, they noted that this person is old and sick and dying and suffering and dying. He's so full of bliss. It's just flowing, overflowing. The eyes are shining with bliss, unable to express. With little movement of the hands, he would convey his blessings and his joy to that, constantly concerned about and praying for the welfare of others and having not the slightest concern for himself. He had extreme asthmatic problems, so at night sometimes he would be unable to sleep. They would make him sit up and put pillows behind him, a typical asthmatic problem. More than once, the monks would come in the morning to bow down to him. He was the president of the entire Ramakrishna order. This was in the late 1920s, early 30s. And say, Swami, how are you? He would say, I'm fine. But Swami, we heard that you couldn't sleep all night because of the asthmatic attack. He says, as if he's totally surprised, he said, oh, you mean the body? Not good at all, not good at all. It is like seeing this flower and that it is withering. All right, it was a pretty fresh flower once, now it's withering and shrinking. But I'm all right. Yes. Next you see. Raga dvesho manodharmo na manaste kadachana nirvikalposi bodhatma nirvikara sukham chara. Bodhatma, you. What are you made of? Are you made of flesh and blood? No. I'm the witness consciousness. Are you made of thoughts and memories and ideas and desires? No, I am the witness consciousness. This I am the witness consciousness is called Bodhatma, the self made of consciousness. What is the material out of which you are made? DNA and flesh and blood and cells and bones and blood and urine and stool and no. Thoughts and emotions and ideas, notions, memories, projects, desires, no. Bodhatma, I am made of consciousness. I am awareness. Nirvikalpa, without any alternation, without any conflict, without any change. Always the same, never changing. Nirvikara, not subject to modification. And the conclusion of all of this is Sukham Chara. Very interesting conclusion, advice. After all of this, what do you take away? You again come back. The body will not go away, the mind will not go away. As long as you are living, the body will come back, mind will come back, and that's wonderful. If you have a movie playing, you know that it's a movie, there's a screen behind it. Once you know it's a movie, you don't have to switch off the movie. It's joyful, let the movie play. Let the movie of the life go on as long as it will. You are free now. Vivekananda says, heed no more how body lives or goes. Its task is done. What's the point of the body? What's the point of life? According to Vedanta, it's to bring us to this point of realization that I am free of the body-mind. I am light itself, consciousness itself. Its task is done. What it was supposed to do, carry us across lifetimes of spiritual journey, multiple bodies. The same mind, however, going from lifetime to lifetime. Its task is done. The task of the body is done. The task of the mind is done. Heed no more how it lives or goes, lives or dies. Go thou the free from door to door and set them free from Maya's veil. Well, congratulations, you're free. You're enlightened, you're free. All right. Now we will do just 5 minutes of the same meditation to appreciate yourself. We will go back into the witness consciousness. I will call out what Ashtavakra has said. And notice in yourself experientially, is it true that I am consciousness? Is it true that I do not change? Is it true that I am the ever shining life? Is it true that I, the consciousness, have no want? We will check that and we'll come back again. Okay, let's look at our friend the flower for one more time. It's a nice flower. And then become aware of the eyes watching the flower. Shift the attention from the flower to the eyes. Become conscious of the eyes. Blink the eyes and close the eyes. I am aware of the eyes, the closed eyes. What is aware of the closed eyes is the mind, which is separate from the eyes. And the mind itself, perceptions, thoughts, emotions, memories, all come and go. I, the witness consciousness, am aware of that. I, the witness consciousness, am separate from the mind. And this witness consciousness is the light which lights up the mind, the senses, the body, the whole world. It shining, everything shines. By its light, everything here is revealed. I am that witness consciousness. Ashtavakra tells me, notice, Chidruposi sada sakshi. This witness consciousness is with that which lights up my thoughts, happy thoughts, sad thoughts, same light, unchanged. Memories, distant memories of childhood, recent memories, same light lights it up. Failure of memory, unable to recall, same light lights it up. My desires, hopes, ambitions, same light lights it up. All my waking life, whatever I do, all my waking life in my days, same light. It's lit by that light. All my dreams, whenever I fall asleep and there are dreams, it is the mind body which falls asleep, the mind which dreams. Same light, I am the same light which lights up the dreams. When the mind also falls asleep into deep sleep, I am the same light shining in the darkness, illumining the complete blankness. Not even the I thought is there. This light, nirapeksha, it does not require anything, it does not lack anything, it does not want anything. It depends on nothing, everything depends on it. Ashtavakra says, Nirvikalposi bodhatma nirvikara. This light is not subject to coming and going, increase and decrease, happiness or sadness, success or failure. It is ever the same. To it, the world appears, the body appears, the world appears. Without it, neither the body will appear nor the world will appear. If one day God appears to us, it will appear to that very light itself. Without that light, even God cannot appear to us. Nirvikalposi bodhatma. Gently open your eyes. The same light is here. When I open my eyes, when my mind comes back, the person comes back, this body comes back, the world comes back. The same light is there, without any change, without any problem, without any want, ever fulfilled, ever unflickering. Now when I come back to this body, mind, world, my perspective has changed completely. The thoughts, the ambitions, the projects which I had dreamt up as a little person in this body-mind, how much of that is worth retaining? How much of that will motivate me anymore? I know that I cannot die. Therefore, I cannot be in a hurry. I know that I'm limitless consciousness. There's nothing that the world can offer me. But the body is still there. The mind is still there. The person is still there. The person can live a life of happiness, sukham chara, keep on doing what it is doing or do new things, and be a blessing to itself, to oneself and to others. Completely at peace with oneself and radiate peace to others. This is the meaning of sukham chara. All right, we'll have a short Q&A session, 15 minutes. Please go to the microphones, those who want to ask a question. One. Yeah. Right, please bring it here. Yeah. All right, stop. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people there, and 2 people there or 1 person? 3 people there, 7. So we're going to have a slightly long Q&A, but we have time. You'll be hungry enough for the food. Let's go this way. Yes, tell us your name and ask the question.
My name is Vijay Nicole. Starting with flower and going through the process, and reaching to the point of I am awareness. And then I drop for a moment awareness. Left was I am. I drop am. Left was I. And when the I was there, that awareness of I being there was there. And for a moment it seemed to me as if once I've dropped the awareness and am, it's the higher I and the lower I as if they're dancing back and forth.
All right, stop. Stop, right, stop right there. When you say higher I and the lower I dancing back and forth and oscillation, it's exactly what Ashtavakra says, nirvikalposi. This is vikalpa, shifting back and forth. Here's the answer to that. If it is dancing back and forth, if it's oscillating back and forth between a higher I and a lower I, you are aware of both. Because It's only because you are aware that you're telling me all this. Right? That awareness. It's neither the higher I nor the lower I. This oscillation is in the mind. This oscillation, would it be there if you were in deep sleep? Always a hazard in Vedanta classes. Deep sleep. Suppose I fell asleep completely, really fell asleep. Would there be any oscillation, any high Vedantic metaphysics? Nothing. Nothing. Just total blankness. And the total blankness, according to Ashtavakra, is illumined by you, the consciousness. That consciousness is entirely beyond the mind. Suppose you drop, like you said, I dropped the I amness, I dropped the awareness, I dropped the I-ness. Suppose I am able to do all that. If I drop everything possible, flush out everything possible, then that flushed out, blank, totally stilled state of the mind is also a state which is it's a kind of quote-unquote experience. To what? So that awareness is not a theory. It's not a construct of the mind. When the mind is shut down also, it's deeper than the mind.
And it's not that oscillation is the lower I.
The oscillation is the mind. Whenever the oscillation is there, I'm trying to shut it down. I'm trying to be just awareness, and there is an oscillation. Remember that oscillation is also appearing to me the awareness. If the oscillation stops, that stopped, still, quiet frame of mind, that's also appearing to me the awareness. So am I still or am I oscillating? Neither.
And the question is, finally, doing meditation, how do I teach that I only without the oscillation?
The real answer. The next session is entirely different. I'll tell you what it is about. But it's a very important question. What the question he asked was a subtle point. How do I stop the oscillation and keep just the higher I, or just the I itself, the consciousness itself? Listen to the answer. You needn't. The one which says that I have to do this is the mind. You have to recognize that you, the awareness, are unconditionally, unchangeably, exactly as you are. This higher I you're talking about, it's that already. You're talking about a subtle meditation which you're practicing. Ashtavakra is saying right now, when you are here, walking around, relaxing, stretching, having a cup of coffee, you are that higher I, completely steady, unflickering, pure consciousness, unchanged entirely. So what is it that we are trying to still make it higher I, pure consciousness? It's all a game of the mind. Right? The deepest level of peaceful meditation is just, note this, is just a pointer to something that is available to you without meditation also. To jump ahead, the last verse in this chapter is a shocking verse. You know, it's an answer to your question. Tyajai, last verse, 20th verse. I don't know if you'll ever get there, but so that I'll touch it here. Tyajai vadhyanam sarvatra. At all times, every time, stop meditating. Ma kinchid hrididharaya. Do not hold on to any kind of conception, practice, idea in the mind. Ma kinchid hrididharaya. If you want something to do, the mind says, no, give me something. It's impossible. It's nice to hear, but the mind wants something to do, something to hold on to. Then one thing to hold on to is, tell the mind to rigorously, meticulously stop harboring thoughts. Give it a task of being alert to the appearance of any thought. That's a good thing to do. That's still activity. But still, if you want to do something. But he says, do not hold on to anything in the mind. Why? Atma tvam mukta evasi. You are the ever-free consciousness. Ever-free. You say, yeah, so? Notice the word. Ever-free, mukta eva. Free only. You are now saying, it's only when I am still completely and pure awareness without any thought, then only I am free. No. When you are driving along on the freeway and relaxing, you are free, the pure consciousness. Exactly. When you're sitting here, listening to these words, stretching, sipping coffee, you're exactly as free as you felt in the deepest, stillest meditation, just now. Not only that, the person who is outside, who has not the slightest interest in Ashtavakra or Vedanta, who just wants to have a swim in the nice pool outside and relax and stretch out and enjoy the sun, that person is equally as much free as Ashtavakra is, as Vivekananda is, as Ramana Maharshi or you and I am. And you say, well, then what's the point? Why am I here, not out there? The point is, if we come to know that, then we are free of the entanglements of samsara, of the entanglements set up by the mind. Then you get the benefit of being free. Otherwise, the difference is this. Your proverbial rich uncle has left you $1 million. And so you're rich, you're a millionaire. So why are you still on welfare? This is because I am rich, but I don't know which bank it is in, I don't have the passwords. And so you are a millionaire, but you don't have access to the $1 million. This is what gives you access to the $1 million. It gives you access. That's a big difference. You're still a millionaire, but now you can use it. It will be of benefit to you. It can remove your sorrow. Yeah, good. I'll come to you, the gentleman there. But it's a very good question. You see how subtle it goes. Yes.
Namaskar, Swami. Thank you for coming to Atmantra. I'm consciousness, but still have a question. And I think you partially answered the question, answer.
Tell us your name.
Nikhil Mishra.
Nikhil.
So my question is, you said we are not body, we are not mind, we are consciousness.
Yes.
So if we are consciousness, what are you trying to tell you are consciousness? Is it really required? And I think in one of the examples we talk about the consciousness and body mind like a flashlight. So how do we make flashlight see its own battery?
Yeah. How do we, the first one, and the second question is one which I'll address first. How do I make the flashlight see its own battery? See, what he's referring to is, with a flashlight in a dark room, we focus the beam on things which we want to see. Wherever we focus the beam, we see it. But now, with the beam of the flashlight, if I wanted to see the flashlight itself, can I do that? I can't. Even if I'm very fast and swing it around quickly. No. The flashlight is behind the light. You cannot. That's what was said in that verse. Drigeva natu drishyate. The seer is never seen. It's not an object of seeing. But that's not a problem. In fact, if you are able to see the seer, if you're able to see consciousness itself, you have reduced yourself to an object. See, we think that there's one way of knowing things is by focusing consciousness on it, through the mind and senses, and we know things. Then how do we know consciousness? If we cannot do that to consciousness, how do we know consciousness? Consciousness is self-luminous. Swaprakash, that's a big concept. Can I dwell on that for a few minutes? I'll give you the executive summary. It's subtle, deep, and a little difficult to catch. But it's beautiful, really. This I am, I exist. Notice two aspects of it. One is the existence of it. And the second is the fact that it's not a dark existence, it's an aware existence. So two things I'll point out. My own existence is indubitable. Shankaracharya, even Descartes, the famous French philosopher, mathematician, we all learned Cartesian coordinates, but he was a great philosopher. And he's famous for his project of skepticism. Whatever can be doubted, let me doubt. Even this world that I'm seeing, it could be, today we will say virtual reality. It could be a dream. It could be a virtual reality. Descartes thought of it 300 years ago. He thought of a demon. He called it a malign demon who might be projecting this world. So it might not be a real world. I can doubt everything in this world. Whatever is seen, heard, experienced, it can be a dream. It can be false, in principle. So what is the one thing that I cannot doubt, ever? my own existence. Why? He summed it up in his very famous, immortal words, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I exist. Even to doubt it, I have to exist. I am the one which is doubting. That much is undeniable. Shankaracharya, about 800 years before, 1000 years before Descartes, he writes, Yaeva tasya nirakarta tasyaiva atmasa. Whoever denies the existence of the Atman, it's the Atman of that very one, the denier. Otherwise, you cannot deny. So Descartes came to this conclusion that I cannot deny my own existence. That much is sure, undeniable. And then he went on to build up his whole system of knowledge based on that certainty in Descartes' meditations. Okay. But let me ask, this is point number one. My own existence is indubitable. Whether it's Descartes or Shankaracharya, Advaita Vedanta takes that as a building block. Your own existence is indubitable. Second point which I want to introduce is even more subtle. I exist, but how do I know that I exist? These are two different questions. Do I exist or not? Yes. Can it be doubted? No. That was Descartes. The second question I'm asking is, this indubitable certain existence, how do I know? Descartes writes something very poignant there. Very interesting. He says that how passing strange it is that everything that I know so well is open to doubt. And what I can never doubt, I don't know anything about it. I can never doubt my own existence, but I don't know anything about it, except that I exist. What is it? I don't know. Why doesn't he know? We know now, because it's not an object. You cannot objectify it. The seer is never seen. The flashlight, you cannot point at it. And yet one thing is interesting, that I know that I exist. Not only do I exist, certainly, but I know that I exist. How do I know that? Okay, follow this. All knowledge, basically, I'm talking about, this is Vedantic epistemology. It requires three things: the knower, the known object, and a method of knowledge. In Sanskrit, pramata, prameya, pramana. So, I am the knower. This is the known object. It's just a fancy way of saying that I'm seeing the flower. How do I know this object? With my eyes. So, object, flower. Knower, Sarvapriyananda. Method of knowledge, eyes. So, knower, method of knowledge, and object of knowledge. Pramata, pramana, prameya. Right? This is how we know anything. Whether through the eyes, or through the ears, or nose, or touch, skin, or tongue, or through the mind, scientific investigation. That's a method, pramana, method of knowledge. Even a belief, like a religion. All of that requires you, the knower, some method of knowledge and something that is known. Heaven exists. How do you know? Who knows? I know. How do I know? My holy book tells me. What do you know? Heaven exists. See, knower, method of knowledge, object of knowledge. Okay. This is how we know. Now bring in, I know that I exist. My own existence. So what's the object of knowledge, like the flower? The object of knowledge is my own existence. Who knows? I know. By what method? Some method. Somehow I know that I exist. But the problem will now be, the knower and the known are two separate things. If I know my own existence, then I'll be different from myself. The knower clearly exists and knows his or her own existence. In that case, there must be a separate knower of myself. I must be separate from myself. So the knower, there's another knower of this knower, knowing through one more method of knowledge. But that knower, who will know that knower? Another knower of that knower will be there. There is the third knower, which will know that second knower, which will know this first knower. Then only I can know this flower. If you do that, this leads to what is called regressus ad infinitum. It's a fallacy in Western logic. In Indian logic, it is called anavastha dosha, the fault of being groundless. No final resting place of your argument. You will go back further back, infinite regress. Regressus ad infinitum. It's a flaw. It shows that there's some mistake you have made in your argument. Something's gone wrong. in the machinery of argumentation, epistemological machinery, something has gone wrong. So this is a fallacy. But number one fault. Number two, serious fault. No knowledge will be possible then. Why? To know this flower, I have to know myself first, know a method of knowing, and then know the flower. But to know myself, if this same method I apply, then the earlier knower, then the knower before that, will go back to infinity, and knowledge will not start itself. I'll never come to this primary knower, and then I'll never be able to know this flower, but I do know this flower. That means this method of knower, known, method of knowledge, this is not how I know my own existence. Then how do I know my own existence? Here, Vedanta suggests your own existence is self-revealed or self-luminous. In Sanskrit, swaprakasha. It is not just a dead existence. You exist, not just a dead existence, but it is an alive, shining existence. It's like a bulb, which like that light. When you switch it on, everything that was in darkness in this room is suddenly revealed. And it is also revealed itself. You don't need to switch on another light to see that light. So it shines, revealing itself and revealing everything else. Similarly, you, the existence, you, the indubitable existence, is also a shining, self-revealing existence. In Sanskrit, this you, the indubitable existence, is called Sat. In Sanskrit, you, this self-shining, self-luminous existence, is called Chit. Sat, Chit. Right. This is the second question. What was your first question? This is the flashlight one. Why you cannot, and you need not see the flashlight. Flashlight is self-revealed.
The first part was you said that we are not body, we are mind,
yes,
and we are consciousness. So I was wondering then, who are we teaching that we are consciousness if I'm not mind, and do I need to teach?
Right. If I am only consciousness, and then everybody in that case also is only consciousness, right? But right now, notice, you are consciousness, but what are you aware of in your consciousness? A mind with a personality, Nikhil, right? So Nikhil's personality comes up. Notice another thing about the consciousness. The consciousness itself, is it personal or impersonal? Impersonal. The personality comes in when the mind comes in. In your deep sleep experience, it is personal or impersonal? Impersonal. Your dreams are personal. That's why each person has different dreams. That's why your analyst is interested in your dreams. Physical existence in this world, is it personal or impersonal? Personal. But consciousness itself is impersonal. But when the mind becomes active, the person Nikhil arises. Then with the body and the sensory system, you are fully equipped to deal with the external world. There is an external world which arises to consciousness. Now there are other such beings around you. Some of them might turn up for your Vedanta seminar. And then you can talk to them about how you are not this personality and this body-mind, but you are consciousness. So that's why the need to teach arises. Because see, ultimately, what's the point of all of this? The point is to overcome suffering, to overcome fear, to find fulfillment and happiness, which we are all trying to do in the world without success. That's why we end up in a Vedanta seminar. Okay, gentleman there.
Namaskar, Swamiji. My name is Mohan. My question is very similar to the previous one, and I guess you have already answered it. Anyway, I'll rephrase that. It's about process of awakening. Is this gradual or is there a sudden shift that happens? Because in the morning, I can see that I'm the screen. No problem, I go into this shunyata. But when I come into samsara, the movie appears and the screen disappears. And once in a while, the screen keeps coming back.
Wait. Does the screen disappear?
No.
You yourself admitted.
I'm aware of the screen. That's what I mean.
Or your awareness of the screen also disappears. But is the screen disappearing? Is the awareness disappearing? No. It is that, see, this is a subtle thing. Who complains? It's the mind which complains. And because your awareness, the mind is able to complain. Because of that very awareness itself. Now your question is it sudden or is it gradual? Both. The answer to your question is both. Did you notice that most people would not be aware of awareness itself? We can go through life without being aware of awareness itself. So when we first come upon it, it can be a sudden breakthrough. The stepping out of the mind If one has not experienced that, one will think, isn't it just the mind thinking? No, it's not thinking. It's very clearly something other than the mind. You become aware in awareness of your trans-mental existence. Then the mind comes back. But to stabilize it, to stop the complaints of the mind, to go beyond that is a gradual process. Why is it a gradual process? See, here's the two things. Knowledge is an instantaneous process. So, no, Swami, it takes years for a PhD. That's true. But for every bit of knowledge, when you make the breakthrough, it's an instantaneous process. The rest of it is all build up. You're getting the books, signing up for the course, attending the lectures. When you get each concept, it happens instantaneously. And at that moment, it's instantaneous and effortless. That's why this is called the direct path. What we are doing here, what Ashtavakra is telling us about. But as you can see, the build up to the direct path, the build up to the PhD can take years and years. And the mind is a machine, like the body. So anything that's machine, that's part of nature, has its own inertia. To change that inertia will take time and effort. So that is the gradual part of it.
I've had some glimpses of that, pure awareness.
Yes.
Bliss state. But
yes.
It disappears, it goes away.
Yes, the glimpse, getting the glimpse depends on the mind. And the occlusion of the glimpse, the disappearance of that glimpse also is because of the mind. The understanding which Ashtavakra is pushing us towards is it doesn't matter. See, the cloud can come and cover the sun. From the cloud's perspective or from our perspective, the sun is covered. But from the sun's perspective, the cloud has come. Good for it. The cloud is gone. Okay. You are the ever-shining sun. From you have to the change of perspective from the body-mind to the ever-shining son of the Atman, ever-shining son of the Atman. Once you do that, you will realize when the mind says next that I got a glimpse, no, it's sort of lost. You will say, good for you, mind. It's lost for you, not to me. And the mind will sheepishly hide its face in shame. It was trying to fool you. It's been caught. Even when the cloud covers the sun, the cloud covering the sun is also lit up by the sunlight. It can never really cover the sun. Similarly, the activity of the mind can never really obstruct the consciousness. It's like we are trying to see through, catch a glimpse, etc. All this language is the mind's language. Stay with this. This is the direct answer to your question. If this does not work, then there's Vedantic meditation, which gives you a glimpse and keeps you with the glimpse. That takes effort. If that does not work, then back to listening again. All right. Yes.
My name is Lisa, and the name is not today, but long before that I'm consciousness.
Very good.
And not only intellectually understood, but I see the benefit of knowing, and I use this practical vedanta on me, and then I found out what is the benefit of knowing myself as a consciousness.
Yes.
And in this samsara, how we can resolve and we can live in this life. With that, I have a question which I heard from you today. If I heard you correctly, you said that we are not a bundle of consciousness, body and mind. Is that true?
Yes.
But I feel always a bundle, right? Because why I feel that way, I see through this mind, through this body. So when I'm seeing only through this body and through this mind, I always say, oh, I have a very difficulty, I'm attached with this body. That's why all sufferings are there.
True.
So if it is not a bundle, why I'm seeing only through this body, through mind? Because I think.
All right. I think I've got your question. It's a good question. There are two questions here actually. One is, how am I not a bundle of body, mind, and consciousness? Because I'm always working through this body, mind. Second is, if there's one consciousness, is it one consciousness in all bodies and minds, or are there different consciousnesses? Because one answer to your question could be, you are the consciousness, and this particular body, mind is right now attached to you. And you will see through this. This is the only instrument before you. And they're all different consciousnesses, and they're different bodies and minds with them. So they all see through that. That's the Sankhyan answer. The answer from Sankhya, not Advaita Vedanta. The very next verse which we will do, will give you an answer to your question. The next one which is coming up. It will show us it's one consciousness in all bodies and minds. Bodies are different. Minds are different. But consciousness is one and the same. But to answer your question, first question is pretty easy. Why am I not a bundle? It's like I'm seeing, if I walk around and I say, I am a bundle of Sarva Priyananda and this shirt. So this body and this shirt, I'm a bundle. You'll say, no, this shirt, although it's walking around with you, is not part of you. You're not bundled with this shirt. You can put on another shirt and you can go shirtless if you want. There's a story about this in Hollywood. In the 1960s, it was the time of the hippies in Southern California, especially in Hollywood. So there was a very senior Swami of ours, Vandananandaji. He was present in the Hollywood ashram. And so before that, it was a very formal time here in America. Everybody came in if you turned up for church, you would turn up in your best. So a 3-piece suit for the gentlemen. And there was a time when people stopped wearing ties. And for a time in the Vedanta Society in Northern California, by a resolution of the board, there was a volunteer standing with ties at the entrance. And if you came in without a tie, they would clip a tie on you. And in those days, no clip ties. It was a laborious process. Okay. So for the first time, people started being entirely informal, 1960s. So this guy turns up at the Hollywood Vedanta Society. He's sitting outside on the bench without a shirt. He's just wearing pants and without a shirt. And the Swami came to him and said, go put on a shirt. And this guy says to him, there's a beard, long hair. He says to him, but the guy inside the temple, Sri Ramakrishna, he's without a shirt. The guy in the temple is without a shirt. And this Swami, I have seen him, Vandananji, in his old age, I've seen him. He had a very gentle manner and a very dry wit, So the guy in the temple is without a shirt. And the Swami said, there ends the resemblance with you. Go put on a shirt. I am not bundled with this shirt. Although I'm continuously with it, I'm not bundled with it. You know very clearly that you're not bundled. Little children sometimes don't know. They love a dress which you put on them. Then when you try to take it off, they scream and, until they let it go. So we are not bundled with the body. That's the whole thing we have. Suppose you're bundled with the body. In your dream, you exist. You're aware in your dreams, right? You're going places, things are happening. Is the physical body there with you in your dream? No, it's sleeping on the bed. You're not even aware that it's sleeping on the bed. How are you bundled with this body? You're not, because you have a continuous conscious experience in the dream. You are having experiences. It's like a hallucination, call it imagination, hallucination, whatever you call it, like a movie. But you are having a conscious experience without this body. So part of the bundle is gone in your experience. In this mind, but is this body there in the dream?
Yeah, sometimes consciousness is the body also.
Consciousness in the body? No, in the dream is the body there? No, not physically. Yes, body is always physical. The body that you see in the dream, I'm taking a walk in the park. But that body is not this body. This is lying in the bed. By the very definition of dream, the body is lying in the bed and sleeping. Right? So you're not bundled with the body. You might say, yeah, but I'm bundled with the mind. I'm having the dream in the mind. Okay, one step further. Deep sleep. According to Vedanta, you are the consciousness illumining the blankness of deep sleep. Is the mind there in deep sleep? It has shut down. After all, the very definition of mind is thinking. Blankness is there. In the mind. The mind is blank at that time. It's not functioning. not functioning, and yet you are there.
Blankness is also a mind.
Yes, true, but you are aware of the blankness of the mind. Yes. So the mind is stopped for the while. So you are not bundled with the mind and the body. You can exist without the mind and the body in the deep sleep. You can exist without the body in the dream sleep. And you exist with the mind and the body in the waking state. See, someone might protest here. No, it's only because the physical body was lying there and sleeping on the bed. That's why we have a dream in that physical body, in the brain, right? This is the gross materialistic reduction we're talking about. This is where David Chalmers and all who was talking about the hard problem of consciousness. They're attacking this very thing. That how do you know that that particular brain is producing consciousness? No, I'm not telling you. I'm telling you, I'm raising a counter question here. So, you're not. I know, you're not. So, yeah. So, the very process of the Drigdrishya Viveka, which we showed you here.
So, how can I detach this bundleness now? Today, it's actually evoked this thing.
Yeah.
I always have this problem.
You detach. You have attached. See, you detach yourself from the body every time you're dreaming. You detach yourself from the body every time you're in deep meditation. When you completely.
How can I detach that? This is I'm not a bundle. I always feel my only problem is I'm attached with this body. I'm attached with this mind.
No, one second.
How I can keep that separate? Though I know.
One second. Let me complete this. In your dreams, you admit that you are not attached to the body?
Yes, I'm not.
You are not.
Yes.
Therefore, you can exist without the body.
Yes.
Now you seem to be attached to the body. It's like saying that I am the awareness where there was no awareness of the body in the dream or in deep sleep. Now in the waking state, there is an awareness of the body. Then if you are not, you can exist without the body, then you are not literally attached to the body. It appears and disappears in you, the consciousness. Yeah, we are going to come into that. So it's like a movie playing on a screen. Once you realize it's a movie, let it play. What's the problem with it? Let it come and go. Yeah, let it come and disappear. As long as you know your independence of the body, from the body. All right. Let's go through one more round of questioning. Later. All right. Ask the question, but we have really run out of time.
There won't be any body, then there won't be any mind. We will be still consciousness living. Right? So at that stage, I'll be zombie like a zombie.
What's a zombie?
Zombie is nothing. It's not a blissful.
See, very interesting. Listen. Now listen. What's the definition of a zombie? I know what it is. A body without consciousness. A building where the lights are out. This is a body which is walking around, talking, doing all sorts of things. And in philosophy, they call it a philosophical zombie in the philosophy of mind. But there's nothing inside. There's no conscious being inside. But from outside, it looks like a actual living human being. This question comes from the body. When you say, if there is no body, no mind, then I'm only consciousness and blankness. Will I be a zombie? Who will you be a zombie means what?
Not conscious as it is.
Huh.
What would be my state?
So,
keep adding through this mind. Because I'm having all knowledge.
I understand. Now let me complete this. This question is no, it's a question. What is the question is, so if I am consciousness, and if there is no body, no mind, then I can't do anything. I can't think of anything. I can't remember anything. I can't enjoy, suffer anything. Right?
Yes.
Right? Who is afraid of that? That's the mind which is afraid of it. See, your questions are coming from the body, from the mind.
Question is coming from the mind. But this question about learning.
Now, yeah, I understand. Let me complete, please. So, when this question is answered this way. The consciousness by itself does not do anything. It's just like lights shining in space. Now, in order to do anything, to think, to remember, to feel, to enjoy, you need the mind. You need the senses and the body. So this is the Sankhyan worldview. This is a Sankhyan worldview which says Prakriti and Purusha need each other. Consciousness and matter need each other. Sankhyan worldview. It's a dualism. So to do anything at all, you need matter, that is material nature, and consciousness, Prakriti and Purusha. Wait. Let me finish. In Advaita Vedanta, however, the entire material universe is nothing other than you, the consciousness. Right? It's like what you are saying is like saying, in the dream, I am consciousness, plus there is a body and a mind, then I can be fully functional in the dream world. Right? So I need the body and the mind to be functional in the dream world. But remember, the dream world and the body and the mind are all generated by you, the dreamer. They depend on you. You don't depend on them. So if consciousness has to do anything, it generates a mind and a body and the whole universe. It is not a separate thing which you are dependent upon. That will come in the next class. Now, you have taken up everybody's time. So we are going to shut it down now, go for lunch, but you guys get to come back in the afternoon session. Please sit. So in the next session, we are actually it's a good segue into the next session's topic. See, this is still dualism. I am consciousness, and separate from me is mind, body, senses, world. This is dualism. This is not non-duality. This is separation. So in this next session, we will go into non-duality. So those verses will be there, and that also we'll try to understand it through logic, how the universe is nothing other than you. And next, also experience it as the whole universe is nothing other than me, not this body, not this person, but other than me consciousness. So that's the next two verses. Don't worry, we are on track. Let me do a peace chant, and then we will reassemble when? It's 1:26. So what was the time? This is the time. The time is right here. Okay. Yeah, so 12.
We were supposed to come back at 2:30.
So should we come back at 3 o'clock? Can you finish lunch? It's 1:30. So we go out at 1:30, 2:30, 3. No, too early?
3 o'clock is fine.
No, we'll do it 3 because earlier we had a 12:45 to 2:30 break. How much break will we be giving earlier? 1.5 hours, little more than 1.5 hours. So let's give a 1.5 hour break. Yeah. So 1:30 to 3. 1:30 to 3. Yeah. So 1:30 to 3 is the break. We come back here at 3. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Yeah. You're free to come back before that also, of course. But
Please remain in your seats. Please remain in your seats while the Swami exits the hall. Please, everyone, be seated.